Hey, Joe Cummings, Missoula River Lodge, checking in after 5 really awful days of fishing. And when I say awful, I mean not number one, because June of 2011 was the least fun ever, but this was a solid number 2. We had forecasted rain, we had rivers that jumped through the roof, we had mud water, we had closed highways. Highway 200 blew out. We had 43 degrees and raining. We just don't even want to be outside, even if you are catching them. We were driving a lot. We were jet boating a lot. We were rock creeking a lot. We were trying to survive Mother Nature's wrath. And she was not a pleasant woman this week at all. Friday was awesome. And then Saturday it started, put down almost 3 inches of rain, and all unforecasted. They'd call for sun. You wake up in the morning, everything's drenched. So, this is a very, very, very busy time of year. There was a limited amount of real estate that was okay fishing, and there were a lot of rods in it because everybody's maxing this time of year. Late June is the absolute peak of when the outfitters are really going the hardest. It's just a very busy time. Thank God for Rock Creek. It was the most stable of all of them, and it came back the fastest. Long-term forecast, if the guy on the news that tells the weather would please tell the truth, and I could count on it, then he's saying we're drying out, we're dropping. We dropped the last 2 days, we're going to continue to drop. If that's the case, then we're coming in, and it's the summer, and it's shorts and sandals, and this is the beginning of the really, really fun stuff that falls in. How long we're going to be in the drop, don't know. There's not a ton of snow left, but the gauges were still stable. Not on the steady drop. Blackfoot was kind of in that steady drop. The Bitterroot was kind of still bubbling. So hard to say how long the drop will last. The drop's really good fishing, but I would say at least another 2 weeks. And then we go from there. So it's coming in. If weather guy tells the truth, weather guy, you need to tell the truth. And you also need to forecast things that I really like. Even if you tell the truth and it's bad weather, when it's bad weather, you need to lie. When it's the good fishing weather, I want to believe you, because that's how fishing guides work. So things are improving, and there are options now, and thank God for Rock Creek jet boats and Georgetown Lake. They got us through the hard times. We caught fish, not what we wanted, but we got through it. Part 2, stories from the river. And this has to do with a test float. And one of the better test float stories that I've had over the years. This is from a few years ago. And a friend of mine, so what a test float is guides come to outfitters and they take us down the river. We look for safety, we look for boatmanship, we look for personality, we look for fishiness, and we decide whether or not they can come into a staff as a first-year guide. So a lot of young guys, they'll maybe do 14, 15 test floats. They're trying to get a job. It's an interview process. On this particular interview process, from a few years ago, guide showed up. This wasn't me, this was a friend of mine. He had shared this story with me in the past. And guide showed up for test float, except test float shows up to the outfitter. And the outfitter notices something odd. No boat attached for his test float. Says to the guide, we're going on a test float, and you don't have a boat to float. He said, nope, I don't have a boat, but I really want to be a fishing guide. I said, well, all right, do you plan to have a boat going forward? Yes, I'm hopeful in the future that I have a boat so I can take people floating. Can I borrow your boat? The outfitter thought, well, I'm scheduled, and what the heck, how bad could it be? I'll let him borrow my boat. So they hook up his boat, and they get in the truck, and the truck takes a while for the truck to start, and the guy's blowing into a tube, which is trying to get the truck started. Finally gets it started. I said, well, what's that tube you're blowing into? Well, that's my alcohol monitoring system. I can't drive my truck unless I blow into this tube. So outfitter says, well, all right, so what, have you been convicted of anything I need to know about? Well, yeah, I've got 3 DUIs. Fair enough. But my truck still starts. If I blow in the tube, the truck will still run, and I got your boat on the back, let's go fishing. Outfitter said, yeah, no problem, let's go fishing. And so they drive and go fishing. Turns out the guy that doesn't own a boat isn't really good at rowing boats, especially in places where there's obstacles. Obstacles present problems for him as a guide. So they do the test float. The guy didn't pass, and it was one of those funny stories, but it really hammers the point home that if you're going to float, you need a boat to do so. And if you, in the future, if you get a boat and a job as a guide, you will have to provide detailed information to the shuttle drivers so that they can blow into your alcohol monitoring system and deliver your boat downstream. So it was a little complex. If he would have passed his test float, which he didn't, there would have been some moving parts to those trips that guide provided, but I think he ended up doing something else that didn't have anything to do with being a fishing guide. So that's a story from the dregs of Test Float Land, Outfitter Land. I hope you're having a good week. We did not have a good one last week. We're looking forward into something better and hoping for more sunshine and not rain. Have a great day. Joe Cummings, Missoula River Lodge, #SMB.